Good afternoon. My name is Colton Satterfield, and this is going to be a little introduction about myself. First and foremost, I want to tell you that my first name is Randall Colton Satterfield. I'm 22 years old, and I actually live in South Georgia. A little bit about myself is I have a lot of interest in a lot of things that I absolutely love to do. First and foremost, I love to work, I love to study, and most of all, I love free time. I love to have my time to enjoy things that not many people get to have anymore. The biggest thing for me, actually, is the amount of interest I have. I love to travel. I love to have a good time, go enjoy, eat, and enjoy these things that not many people get to have anymore. Another thing for me also is when I'm working. When I work, I actually sit down and I feel like I'm studying. And when I sit down and study, whenever I sit and look at something that I am trying to put in my mind into process, it feels almost like I'm working. It feels almost like I am in the midst of studying and working all in the same time. And you say, Colton, how is that? How can something work so cooperative with that and become so easy? For me, it's pharmacy. Pharmacy is something that I know that I can do the absolute rest of my life, knowing that there's nothing I can do that brings me any more joy. Another thing for me, a huge hobby of mine is actually working on cars and building things. Building my first actual project I ever did was my grandfather. He actually got a car, 1966 Ford Mustang at the time, and built it. He used all the resources he had, pulled everything together, and built this car. And it turned out absolutely beautiful. But he actually ended up buying two. And I said, Grandpa, I said, what are you going to do with this car? What are you going to do after all this that you've done? What are you going to do to this car? And he said, son, you can have it. Well, about 4 years later, I've been working on this car for about, like I said, 4 years, and it turned out to be absolutely beautiful. It's just amazing to see something go from having a bucket seat and to being black, turn into absolutely beautiful blue-looking car now. And the thing, when you sit in it, I mean, everybody's head just sits there and turns and looks at it. But what I'm getting at is the fact that I could sit there and replace piece by piece and build something gave me a lot of joy. With that, actually, I got a job at Advanced Auto Parts. I worked there for actually 2 years. In the midst of that time, I actually became working for a managerial position in that scenario. I was actually the sales manager. I walked around the floor, did inventory and things like that, but that brought me that job. And even with that, getting into pharmacy, getting into things like this, I started working into a pharmacy. The more I've worked there for almost 2 years now, I love it. I'm getting into compounding pharmacy. I'm getting into things that I get to make again, and it's something that I absolutely enjoy. A huge thing for me is carpentry. I can make benches. I can make chairs, anything that you can almost think of. The biggest burden on me for most people is a lot of people don't get to enjoy these things. A lot of people don't get the opportunities to enjoy, have a good time, and even in the same scenario, sometimes they just can't afford it. And for me, I want to give people those opportunities. I want to give them the opportunity to have almost anything that they need. And what I mean by that is, if you want to be a doctor, I want you to have the opportunity to go and do that. Even for traveling, for me, I love to travel around the States, like I said, and I love it, but I want to give people those opportunities. I want to give them that chance at life to have a great life. For me, I find joy in just helping those people every day. That was my introduction, and thank you for everything.